If you've ever tuned into the streams of pro players, you may have discovered and questioned why sometimes their game looks a bit different from yours. And the reason for this is resolution. Most of you guys are likely playing at a native resolution, meaning you're on dimensions that match what your display is meant to run in. For most of you, this would probably be a 16:9 aspect ratio at a 1920x1080 resolution. Many of the top players like to play around with different settings to see what allows them to perform the best, and a part of this testing is resolution. Finding the right resolution for you is key to being able to play at your full potential. Here are the greatest resolutions that you should absolutely try out. Stay tuned till the end because we're saving the best resolution for last. Don't miss out! Over at SkillCapped.com, you'll find everything you need to hit those higher ranks in the game. We are so confident, in fact, we offer a rank improvement guarantee. That's because our main goal at SkillCapped is to make sure you actually get better. So, what you thinking? Give us a shot. You won't be disappointed. Alright, now, let's get back into the video. Before we begin looking into these resolutions, it's important to know that a good number of the resolutions we're going to show you are customized. And that means you won't be able to just go into Valorant and simply change these resolutions in the video tab right off the get-go. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, all you have to do is right-click your desktop and go into NVIDIA Control Panel. From there, go to the Display tab and the section titled Change Resolution. Hit the Customize button and go into Create Custom Resolution. From there, you can make the custom resolution that you want. This process is similar with AMD cards. Right-click your desktop again and hit AMD Radeon Settings. From there, go into the Display tab, hit Create under Custom Resolutions. Now you can change the horizontal and vertical to the pixels you desire. Great, we now know how to create custom resolutions. Now it's time for the fun stuff. This resolution is used by quite a few pros, Solkis, Link, and Navera to name a few. And most notably, Nats uses this resolution as well. One trend that we noticed from players who use this resolution is they have an extensive background in Counter-Strike. The reason a number of these pros use 1280x960 is because that's what they've been using from the very beginning. Beginning being way back in the old days when we didn't even have 16:9 aspect ratios. All they had was the boxed up 4x3, and 4x3 is what these players are comfortable with. Professionals will rarely change their peripherals. In sports like tennis and golf requiring different rackets and clubs, you'll rarely see a pro player change their equipment during their career, if they've used it for several years already. And that's the same with these pro esports players. They don't like change. They don't want to learn and adapt to something new if they don't have to. Now, this resolution isn't used a lot, just because it's what the pros are using though. There are plenty of advantages in using it. First, the lower resolution here helps give you better performance. There are less pixels to process, and as a result, your computer will be able to run the game at higher frames. This is likely the main reason players use this resolution, so they get the most FPS possible. And for those with lower end PCs, playing at 1280x960 will dramatically improve your frames, compared to the default 1920x1080. If you want a decent experience, we recommend trying to target at least 60 FPS while you're playing the game. Second, some players prefer the 4x3 stretch resolution due to the feel it provides. It's kinda hard to describe and actually envision this until you try it. But the stretched resolutions will make your crosshair and player models appear as if they're moving faster than they look on a 16:9 resolution. This is just the look though, they're not actually moving faster than normal, of course. Some players prefer this pace and feel that they play a little better. Perhaps the native resolution feels too stiff for you. If that's you, then a stretch resolution might help your game feel smoother. And lastly, the stretched resolution actually changes how your crosshair is gonna look. This is a really personal preference, but the popular opinion is that stretch crosshairs look better than native crosshairs. Here's a side-by-side view of what the popular 1:4:2:2 crosshair looks like on the two resolutions. Depending on what your resolution is, the crosshair will appear to be bigger by half a setting. Obviously, you can't increase your lines by 0.5. So, the stretch resolution helps to get you there and achieve crosshair looks that you can't replicate on native. Now, because this resolution is so low compared to 1920x1080, the game will look pretty stretched out. Because it's stretched and there's less pixels, the game isn't gonna look very good. this is the trade-off, unfortunately. Better performance and feel over worse graphics. If your PC isn't the best spec-wise, 1280 by 960 is a great resolution to use to improve your performance. Performance and feel are going to be the main reasons you go for this resolution. It won't turn you into an instant pro, but it definitely can help if you're suffering from lower frames. With that being said, we want to offer an option for those who aren't as tech savvy with custom resolutions. One of the lowest resolutions that you'll find in Valorant is 1024 by 768. This was a resolution currently used by Whippy along with former pros Shinobi and Nitro. There's not too much to say about this one. It's an even lower resolution than 1280 by 960, thus giving you even more frames. Player models and movements will still look bigger and faster than when you're on a 16 by 9 resolution. Of course, this comes at the cost of graphics yet again. We really only recommend this as being the best video resolution for those with really low-end PCs, to really maximize their FPS. Or if you happen to be a veteran player, like the pros we mentioned who played at this resolution previously. We're tossing out graphics and appearances for performance here. As we said, this is one of the lowest resolution settings that is implemented into the game. Personally, owning a 280Hz monitor, I was able to consistently hit 280 plus frames while playing, resulting in silky smooth performance. I experienced no stuttering, no lag whatsoever throughout the entire time I used that resolution. Now, I do like my games to look higher quality though, so personally, I prefer going back to a higher resolution for a better experience. We feel like most of our viewers would probably feel the same, so we stick by our thoughts that you should only use this if you're lacking the ability to get those 60 frames in all situations. Alright, moving on. Let's tone things back a bit. Another popular resolution that we've seen players use is 1680 by 1050. Sean Garris is one of the first we've seen using this resolution. Now, most notably, Radiant player Tarek uses this resolution, and many have followed suit after seeing him use it. This resolution is perfect for those who want that stretched feel we mentioned earlier without a significant cost to graphics. This is actually a 16 by 10 resolution versus 4 by 3. So it's only a slight stretch being implemented. And with less pixels, you get a slight performance boost as well. It's not enough to really be significant though, so the feel is what we're really going for by picking this resolution. Personally, this is one of our favorite resolutions to use. It's not too intense of a stretch, so graphically, the appearance is relatively the same. The slight increase in player model size makes long-range shots feel a little easier to hit. Disclaimer though, the models aren't actually bigger. This is all just look and feel though. Due to the resolution, players aren't actually easier to hit. We recommend trying out this resolution if you want a touch of that stretched vibe and feel without any of the graphical consequences. Alright, kicking it up a notch, we have the resolution of 1440 by 1080. This is a very popular resolution amongst Valorant players that came from Fortnite, although there are former Counter-Strike players who use it as well. Most notably, we have players such as Yampy, Meadow, Jixstani, and Poach using this resolution. It's definitely a more niche resolution. This one really comes down to preference. If you tried 1680 by 1050 and felt like it wasn't enough of a stretched feel for you, then 1440 by 1080 is the next step. This resolution has a 4:3 aspect ratio, so the difference between these two will be significant because of that. We rate this resolution at the middle of the pack. It's not exactly gentle like 1680 by 1050, but it's also not extreme like 1280 by 960. You'll get a balanced mix of performance boost without too much graphical sacrifice. If you need something between these two, this is it, baby. Last but not least, we have to talk about the best resolution, which is probably one you're already familiar with. This one's a no-brainer here, but it's 1920 by 1080, the default resolution for 99% of modern PCs. All the resolutions we've talked about are really unique, but really pertain to 3 different people. You have competitive players who want to play their absolute best, you have players who really enjoy the feel of the game on a lower stretched resolution, and then you have those who are looking to increase their FPS. If you don't fit into either of these 3 categories, there's really no need to go to a different resolution. 99% of players play at native resolution, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, it's great, and you can run the game fine on it, and you don't have any issues with how you perform on 1920 by 1080, then just keep it. The game definitely looks its absolute best at these higher HD resolutions, and you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There is a larger number of professional players that use different resolutions, but even then, over 90% of the pros stick with 1920 by 1080. Some of the craziest aimers, like Scream, CNET, and Tens, all stick with the native resolution. At the end of the day, if you have good PC specs that let you run Valorant smoothly and feel comfortable playing on 1920 by 1080, then there's no real need to make an adjustment to the resolution. A new resolution isn't going to suddenly make you play better. You'd have to get used to playing the resolution, which takes time, and could potentially even make you play worse initially since you're more used to a different res. You'd have to get used to the resolution, which takes time, and could potentially make you play a little worse for a while since you're used to a different res. Now let's jump back into performance. This is for those who don't care about stretched resolutions. If you love 1920 by 1080 but just can't run the game well, we're gonna give an honorable mention to 1600 by 900 resolution. This resolution isn't attached like the others, it's still a 16 by 9 aspect ratio and is a toned down version of 1920 by 1080. The decreased pixels will help increase your FPS just a smidge while giving you the same feel of a native resolution. Make sure to give this resolution a try if you love native like most players and you just want to get some boosted frames. That is all we have for today's video. We hope this helped you learn and identify the right resolution for you to play on. And I think that is going to do it for us today though. As always, we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next one.